Hi ladies and gents, my name is Thom Gibson and I wanted to share a little bit about my workstation for distance learning. I will say that this station has been in the works for the last couple of years, and it primarily served as a YouTube studio for making these YouTube videos that I make, as well as some podcasting stuff, but it is now my primary distance learning station. And so keep that in mind. This is not a recommendation of what you need, but just more me sharing what I have, and perhaps there is some element here that you could find useful in your home workstation. And so the first thing I'm going to talk about is this desk. This is a motorized standing desk that was created by a company here in Austin called Uplift. I push a button and it can go up. Goodbye. Which is great because I actually love to stand during my classes because it gives me the energy. We actually stand when we're in school for a reason. And so every single one of my classes I am standing for. And then after class is over, if it's a prep period, I lower it back down to a normal level. With this desk, I wanted a desk big enough that I could hold everything, but it wouldn't feel cluttered, and that included the bottom. I got this little mesh thing that catches all the wires, and everything just comes out of basically two plugs that I put into the wall, because there's two surge protectors that everything is plugged in, and then those get plugged into the wall. So I wanted this to be a clean space that didn't feel too cluttered, because I'd be spending a lot of time here, and I wanted it clean before I was even doing distance learning, but all the more now that I'm doing distance learning. I've got room to write on something if I need to, or even film a video with something with my camera facing down on the desk. I don't have to clear anything out, maybe just move my mouse and keyboard, and then underneath is nice and clean as well. And so this was definitely a splurge when we moved to this new house. I was like, okay, I really want this to be the desk that I keep for a long time and use for a long time, and I've wanted a standing desk for a while. So that's the first thing, this Uplift motorized standing desk. There are other options if you want to just put your laptop on something that elevates and so you can stand while you're at a normal table, but this is what I have. My computer that I use is this PC. I won't go through all the specs of it, but I will post them here on the screen if you're into PC specs. I got this PC a couple years ago because I wanted a more powerful computer for video editing and possibly doing some live streams, and I was used to using a Mac, but it was easier and cheaper to get a more powerful PC than getting a more powerful Mac. And so I got recommended to someone on eBay that built custom PCs, and then ended up getting this for about $1,000 about a year and a half ago. But to get the same specs with a Mac, it would have been like over like maybe $2,500 or something like that. I've got two monitors. This is a 4K AOC monitor. I kind of just looked for the cheapest 4K monitor, and this was it. And then this is a 2K monitor right here. My general workflow is that I'll have Zoom and the chat and the participant panel on this monitor because my webcam is right above it, so I can kind of look at the webcam when my students are pretty close to the webcam, so I'm not looking off to the side when I'm trying to see my students. And then on this screen, this is where I have either my slideshow or my resources, or if I've got a whiteboard that I'm writing on, all that's going to be on this second monitor that's a little bit out of frame right here. They are on a dual monitor stand that I can kind of change the angle and lift and lower. I've got two 3-inch Mackie monitors that I don't really use during class because I'm using headphones, but they're okay monitors. The switch that you use to kind of say which one is your left speaker and which one is your right speaker sometimes goes out, and so sometimes the audio is only coming through the right speaker. Usually if I jiggle it enough, it'll fix itself, but if it gets to the point where I have to do it every time I'm listening to it and have to jiggle the little switch for both speakers to work, I will probably get something different. But they're serving their purpose for now. Usually it's just for listening to music while I'm working or when I'm editing some of my videos. I talked about using headphones during class. I've got these AKG K240s. These are really nice because they have kind of an open back. One of the things with wearing headphones a lot is like your ears just get fatigued. And so when you put these on, they don't block out a ton of the outside sound because it's almost like it lets your ears breathe a little bit more. So I've never had like, oh, my ears are just tired and worn out from these headphones. And so they're actually really great for distance learning and for any other audio stuff that I'm doing, video stuff that I'm doing. I really like that. And there's a little hook on the bottom of the desk that I can kind of attach them to, which is pretty nice. The headphones are actually plugged into what is called an audio interface. It's this box that I can connect to my computer via USB. And the good thing about having an audio interface is then I can connect a microphone, an XLR microphone, which is a little bit fancier than a microphone that you can plug in with a USB cable. They're kind of like the traditional microphones if you see the 3 prongs. This has inputs for those types of microphones. So I can put this really nice microphone out of frame, plug it into this interface, and then the interface is plugged into my computer with USB, and then I can read it as like, oh, okay, I want my microphone from my Scarlett Focusrite interface. And my headphones can plug into it as well, and there's a little headphone knob there as well. So that's pretty nice to get a little bit better audio than getting a USB microphone. But USB microphones are a little bit cheaper, so I'll link to another video that I have on what some of the best USB microphones I think for teachers doing distance learning. The microphone that is out of frame is a Rode NTG2. It is called a shotgun mic because it is slender and it's got a very narrow focus of what it's listening to. And the good thing about that is I can kind of put it out of frame and then point it to my mouth. Usually during Zoom class, since I can't add a bunch of effects to make it louder and sound better, I'll move it a little bit closer to my mouth. But it makes for better audio without a big microphone sticking in front of my face. And then if I'm doing a video like this or creating a video for my students, I can put it out of frame, and then in my video editor I can kind of add effects to it and add compression to it so it's a little bit louder. But the good thing about this microphone is it kind of, since it's that very narrow focus, it doesn't pick up as much of the noise that it's not pointed at. It is attached to a Rode boom arm, which I can actually move the microphone. I can move the microphone a little bit closer, move it out of frame, and I didn't realize that this boom arm was meant for heavier microphones, so I actually had to buy this little weight because if I just had my little skinny, really light microphone, when I pull it down, it just kind of goes right back up. And so I had to like figure out like what the optimal weight was for the boom arm, and then find out how many grams I needed to add to it, and then add so that it wouldn't kind of like bounce straight back up. And so it just attaches on the end of my desk, and I can move the microphone wherever I want. As far as some of my other peripherals here, I've got this Logitech wireless solar powered keyboard. I really like a clean, minimal look, and so I like that I don't have to have a wire coming out of this. And then it just automatically connects to my PC via Bluetooth. And then I've got an MX Master 3 mouse, which is overkill if you're doing distance learning. Most of this is for video editing. It's got all these different buttons that I can assign tasks to. So it's like, I have one button where when I click that button, it lets me pick which part of my screen I want to do a screenshot of, and then it copies it to my clipboard. So that's kind of nice, so I don't have to hold like Windows, Control, Print Screen, and and then do that. So I just push a button and do it. That is also wireless, since they're both Logitech. They both connect to this little USB Bluetooth receiver that I plug into my PC, which is pretty nice. When distance learning started, I got this Wacom Intuos writing pad. It takes some getting used to. I teach math, and so I was like, I really should just get something that I can write on a virtual whiteboard. But even with this, it's just kind of like, So if you ever watch a Khan Academy video, he's using something like this. I got the wireless one just so I could move it wherever I needed to, and then the charge lasts for a while. But I don't really use it during live class. Most of the times it's if I'm recording a video for students, I'll use it then because I haven't used it enough to actually get used to it yet, so I don't want to like be fumbling through it while I'm doing it live. But it's kind of nice because all the buttons on there, you can also customize certain things if you want to like change colors or something like that. As far as the webcam, I've got an old GoPro, a GoPro Hero 4. I think they're on GoPro 10 right now, but it's a GoPro Hero 4 Silver, and I have an HDMI going out of it. You can't just plug it into your computer as like with the HDMI cable, because all the HDMIs on your computer are going out, not taking any information in. And so I had to buy this little dongle called an Elgato Cam Link. And so I plug the HDMI into it, and then it plugs into my computer with USB. And that's how my computer is able to recognize my GoPro as a webcam. I could also do that with the camera that I'm recording with now, and I've got some some other ones, but I use this camera a lot of times from this angle over here, and I didn't want to have to keep moving it back and forth. I don't really use the GoPro for anything else. I use this camera to make my YouTube videos and stuff like that. And so since I don't really use the GoPro for anything else right now, it makes for a really good webcam that I can just attach right above my monitor, and it's always plugged in and always ready to go. And the quality is gonna be better than most like USB webcams. Those generally like your face is really washed out, or it's like way too bright or not bright enough, and you don't generally have a lot of control over those settings. And so I like how I can get the GoPro pretty much to look how I want, if I want a really wide angle, or if I want it to be a little bit more narrow. So it makes for a pretty good webcam. And in the corner, I've got this lighting ring kind of set up if I need more light, but I almost never use it because I've set this desk up intentionally with the windows facing me, so that way I get a lot of the light from the outside. Most of the time that I'm filming, it's during the day, and so even right now it's kind of an overcast day, but there's still plenty of light coming through. The only time I've really used the ring light is if I've had to be on Zoom at night and there's no light coming through, and so like Meet the Teacher night, I ended up using it. But for the most part, I just open my blinds and use the natural light that comes in. And lastly, a little holder for my cell phone. Little charger if I need it. Generally put my cell phone face down during class, so I'm not getting too distracted by it, but I'll have it right there whenever I'm working during a prep period or something like that, which is handy, and I can charge it pretty easily right there. And so that's about everything that I have here. I kind of focused mainly on the things that I use day-to-day in distance learning on Zoom or making videos for the students. Everything is linked below in the description. They are Amazon affiliate links. If you end up purchasing it, I'll get a small commission of that purchase, but it doesn't change the price for you. Again, you don't need any of it. You just need some internet connection and a computer, but this does make the whole experience a little bit better for me, and hopefully a little bit better for the kids, being that I enjoy working here. I enjoy being here and teaching remotely. If you are teaching remotely and you want to create videos for your students to watch asynchronously, at the beginning of the year, I created a 1-hour self-paced course for teachers on creating successful videos for distance learning. I had the teacher in mind that is like, all this stuff is too intimidating and I don't know how to make videos and the whole thing is daunting and I don't want to buy a bunch of equipment. I show you how to make really good videos without buying any equipment, but just using what you already have, and free ways to make better, more quality videos, from the planning process to how to make your videos engaging for your students, to how to create the videos and how to assess and assign the videos to your students so you can see who's watching the videos and if they're actually understanding what they are watching. And so I will link to the Create Successful Videos for Distance Learning course down below if you're interested in creating some videos for your students during distance learning. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Thom Gibson. I hope you learned something today that'll help you create more meaningful and memorable experiences for your students, and hopefully I will catch you in the next video.